Day 5 in the Lemaricus Davidson capital murder trial began today with a packed courtroom. People apparently had filed in once they learned that the Knox County Medical Examiner, Dr. Darinka Mileusnic-Polchan, was going to take the stand. It gave the atmosphere a bit of a macabre feel, like people turning out to stare at a train wreck, or because there were some really horrific images today. It's clearly very hard on the family. They've seen it once before in the trial of Davidson's brother, Latavis Cobbins, but it didn't appear to get any easier, and in fact it may have been a little worse. Dr. Mileusnic began with the autopsy of Chris Newsom. She began her testimony with a horrific shot of Chris's burned body spread out in front of the nearby railroad tracks that were near the Chipman Street house that Davidson lived in. What she told jurors is that Chris was bound, gagged, his ankles were bound. He was forced to walk barefoot for some period of time over dirt and gravel. He was raped at least an hour, she said, before his death. Sometime after that rape, and other testimony indicates it would have been around 1:45 a.m. Dr. Mileusnic said that Chris was, of course, taken outside, forced to walk barefoot, and then shot 3 times, one to the back, one to the neck, and one to the head.
The photograph depicts the body as is, the way it was found at the scene. The train tracks, of course, are running in this upper part of the photograph, and you can see that the body was found face up. The upper part of the body severely charred. There were some clothing items and some wrap cloth or piece of clothing that it's over the face. And you can also observe that the lower part of the body doesn't really have any garments. It looks like there was nothing there covering the legs. In the ankle region, there was a leather belt, in addition to some other strip of either a bed sheet. And you can see that one of the arms is bent and under the body. The other one is twisted. Part of this position and the contractures that happen in the joints is because of the generated heat. So I can tell just by the way the contractures occurred in the knees and elbows that the body was subject to very high heat for some time as it was burning. Of course, this was a consequence of fire that engulfed the body for some time following death, and we'll discuss that later.
What about photo number 219?
Now, close-up of the ankle and the feet area. You can see better now the belt securing the ankle. It was twisted and actually wrapped around the ankles twice, in addition to the cloth, partially charred cloth piece of the torn bed sheet that was also securing ankles at one point.
About number 220?
The upper part of the body, again, you can see there was much more charring and burning that happened in the upper part of the body. As you can remember, the ankles were spared, so that means that whatever the body was wrapped in did not cover the ankles originally. You can also notice that some clothing items were still preserved here as opposed to the legs that were completely uncovered, and the blistering or charring of these blister indicates that there was an extremely high heat that was generated in burning the body for some time.
Number 221.
Now this is the close-up of the head area. The face would be pointing in this direction. The back of the head would be here top, and the neck area. And you can also see that the head is completely wrapped in some sort of garment that it's quite burned. The blood is actually seeping from the injury in the head region.
And what about this area right here?
That was actually covering the part of the head that there was a defect that appeared to be that potentially could be a gunshot wound, and we'll see that later. It was During transportation, also during scene examination, was examined, and it turned out to be actually gunshot wound to the head area.
One of the things that Prosecutor Takisha Fitzgerald did today with Dr. Mileusnic's testimony was to outline some scenarios of what may well have happened to these two victims. Fitzgerald was able to sort of recreate what the doctor says could have happened based on the trajectory of the bullets and the wounds.
That would create free access to the lumbar area without arms being in the way.
And would that explain the steep angle of that bullet in the back?
Yes, the body bent in this position would fulfill the requirements for the trajectory that I described, yes.
And again, as you, I think as I've heard you testify in the past, the body is dynamic.
Absolutely, and any shooting scene is very dynamic, yes.
Is it possible to recreate an entire, I guess, murder scene exactly?
Well, not unless we have a video, we have witnesses, and of course, we know that this is a plausible position, whether now Mr. Newsom is bent and stationary or running away. I mean, I could not really tell that from the autopsy.
What were the results of his blood sample?
The results on the blood demonstrated presence of amphetamine in the concentration of 0.16 micrograms per milliliter. Also, there was a trace alcohol level of 0.01 gram percent. And the last test was for marijuana, or 9-carboxy 11-or-delta THC, which is marijuana metabolite, and that was 18.9 nanograms per milliliter. That's amount that we can see in occasional users. Frequently, in addition to that, we look at the urine level, and they can tell us if it's a recent use or it could be potentially some past use.
Was he also tested for the presence of cocaine?
Yes. In Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, in general, tests for many drugs of abuse, including also many medications that can be abused, and the rest of it was negative.
Can you run through what all was negative?
Yes, the report stated that the barbiturates, frequently many sleeping pills, the barbiturates, benzodiazepines, which are tranquilizers, cocaine, and opiates, and that's a range of opiates that they can test for, they were all negative.
And did you prepare the certificate of death for Mr. Newsom?
Yes.
And what was your conclusion as to the cause and manner of death?
The main cause of death was multiple gunshot wounds, and the manner of death was homicide.